Welcome to Carter's Country Club. This is episode 2, Bikes, Buoys, and Ballet. This is the final part. This is part 11, and I continue to ask the question, are you raising a boy? And I want to close out this episode with another song from Hem, Hem. And I've referenced this album before. It's called Rabbit Songs. So let's take a deep breath. I am sitting on a 55 centimeter Swiss ball, and you can obviously, your choice, right? But I'm going to take a deep breath as this final episode is going to be just a little bit intense. This song is not intense though. It's called Horsey. It's pretty awesome. I've shared before, if you don't like stringed instruments, we're probably not going to be friends.
Blue sky and yellow sun paint the streets and avenues. You float over everyone in your rings and your wingtip shoes. Well, I can't say I know you when you come around. You look like a giant in my hand-me-downs, taller than anything, riding a horsey through the town.
Hey, so I'm wearing my old favorite shirt again. I don't co parent with the government, and I've been very clear from the beginning. Government is slavery, like plain and simple. It's not serving us. I've quoted Riley Gaines in these presentations, and I will quote her again. But her team, sent me an email this morning telling me, we just got to get behind the America First movement, and how many tens of thousands of dollars, needed to be donated to Charlie Kirk and whatever he was doing. So it's not the answer, right? Like Trump is not the answer. Elon is not the answer. No politician is the answer. We are the answer. So that is why I am doing my best to be as vulnerable as I can, share from my heart as much as I can so that we can come together. But I am here to talk a little bit more about ballet and my son and to continue to ask if boys are really welcome there. Are they really welcome in ballet? Not the new habit of welcoming male identifying dancers, but boys, just boys. So I'm going to start that song again with this next slide. And like I said, I'm sitting on a Swiss ball and I have been inviting you to move. That's what we're working towards is our movement. We use that chair that has Carter's ballet bag on it. We got the ballet bar out. So I'm just going to invite you so that we're on the same page to take some type of physical action within your body as we go back and listen to the song Horsey again. And again, I chose it because, Justin and Carter have this vision with Mustangs and, you know, I don't know. I'm going to say, again, he's going to tell me I'm totally wrong, but like that they're going to save these horses and bring them in and all of these things. Like that's their bigger vision with part of Carter's Country Club. My vision, as I have shared, I will share at the end of the presentation, I will continue to share, is for us to come together and to grow this entire thing, that includes education and movement and the arts and, regenerative agriculture and all of the things. Okay, so let's take a deep breath. You do what moves you, just so we are moving into action together. Life is what happens while you're busy making other plans. Okay. I had all kinds of other plans other than having a child. And I was back in school thinking about taking Beyond Movement in this way that was had modern dance infused in it. And then I had a child, and now I see, after these years of working with children, the need to raise them, right? To raise them up, to raise their morals, and that is what I am intending to do. So again, you move so that we can move into action. What if they got to move to live music? What if everybody wasn't in a dance recital, performing on a stage to some type of recording? What if everybody had the access to strings like this?
Blue sky and yellow sun paint the streets and avenues. You float over everyone in your rings and your wingtip shoes. Well, I can't say I know you when you come around. You look like a giant in my hand-me-downs, taller than anything, riding a horsey through the town.
So, boys that are riding horses, are they really welcome at the ballet? Do they know anything about the ballet? Do they know about the opera? Do they know about the theater? Or just kids in cities?
Red bird is hanging low
As you're moving, just think about
outside.
that. Are they really welcome? Are we really including everybody?
He holds on to what he knows, so he takes a hold of me. Well, I can't say I know you when you come around. You look like a giant in my hand-me-downs, taller than anything, riding a horsey through the town, riding a horsey through the town.
So, I've shared before that Carter got to perform on this stage, which is the Tennessee Performing Arts Center, last December, playing the role of Fritz in the Nutcracker, which is such a perfect boy role, right? He breaks the Nutcracker, he's acting up. It's such a great character. But I don't know that every feisty boy gets that opportunity. I mean, maybe they don't want to, and I totally get that. But are we allowing them self expression? Do they get to see a big orchestra pit like that? I don't know. And I don't think it's because they're ignorant. I don't think it's because they're backward or anything like that. I think they don't have the access. And I think the way the arts have behaved, because they're so isolated in their cities, that they don't even know. They don't even know what's going on with these kids outside of the city, right? But what the people outside of the city see is this, okay? And I understand that not everybody is still dancing in a mask, and but there are still people wearing masks in the theater and in the arts. And the people in the country use their common sense. I'm sorry. I mean, they just do. And they're like, there is no way that that is safe and effective, right? That's just a buzzword. Okay. It's ridiculous. And I understand that, it looks like that this is taken, during COVID, and, it looks like that perhaps it's a company in Asia. But I don't know, I just took it. I was just looking up different pictures of, people in masks dancing. And I've shared the pas de deux picture, and I've shared some pictures of children. Um, but this was just so perfect because, their arabesques are beautiful, and then they're wearing surgical masks, right? Most of them look like dirty, stupid surgical masks. And I want to just remind you, if you think it doesn't matter, and if you're not aware of the weather warfare that is being waged on us and everything else is going on, they are keying up for something of the sort. And the dance world will do this again in a heartbeat. Okay. So I get it that this is intense, and maybe you're thinking, well, who cares? It's like, well, I don't want ballet to die. I don't want the arts to die, and I don't think the way that they are trying to quote be inclusive is helping their issue, right? I don't think that just like maybe people in a city make a judgment about people in the country are judging the city. And, my husband always says, Justin always says, if you don't want to be stereotyped, don't fit the bill. And they fit the bill, right? They totally fit the bill. And I hope at this point in this episode, I've shared enough from my heart, my tomboy heart, that I so get it. I would have so much rather worn a white shirt and black pants in parts of my life than worn a leotard and tights. I totally get it. And I wasn't really like a pink princess inspired person, okay? But that doesn't mean that I need to take bioidentical hormones and alter myself, right? The only person or entity that benefits from that is the surgeon and big pharma and the hospitals and that whole monstrous thing. We know where the arts stand, and our kids deserve artistic expression without indoctrination. Okay. This is where the arts are going in big cities. So, why can't we offer something different in the country? Right? As I shared, I brought my son to the arts. I love the arts with every fiber of my being. And I've shared these images before where he's looking in the studio. That's Carter at his local studio. The picture of him walking with two of his friends that are girls. And then the picture of him touching the mannequin with the beautiful costumes. Those are in the Nashville Ballet's Martin Center studio. And then the one on the far right is the first time Carter saw the Nashville Ballet do the Nutcracker. And it would be 2 years later that he would be up on that stage. And he called this sugar plum his sugar plum fairy. And I love, if you listen to the ballet help desk, you already know this, right? You already know that Nashville Ballet is doing great things. Okay. They are doing wonderful things as far as in the ballet world. And if you don't listen to the ballet help desk, then you should. And if you don't care about ballet, then, you know, I don't know, educate yourself in other ways. But anyway, they're doing a great job of bringing the kids in and educating. But again, is everybody welcome there? And of course, most people, I don't know that everybody can even afford tickets to the Nutcracker. And I know there's other opportunities and I know everybody's working on them, but we need to get out of the cities. They have their own thing going on. Let's reach out in other ways. I have shared Carter and Amata before, and I wanted to share them again after one of Carter's little T-ball games. The truth is, there are only two genders. We may express ourselves differently, but embracing how our Creator made us just might be part of the solution. So I don't care if you tell me that it's gender norms, but I teach my son to be respectful and care for the girls and women in his life. I teach him to love them. I, you know, he doesn't need to be them, right? He gets to love them for who they are and he gets to be who he is. And that's why I've shared, that we get to have biological gender in our sports at Carter's Country Club. I don't care what President Trump is doing and the fact that, Riley Gaines thinks that he's going to save the biological gender in sports. I'm here to just do that on my own. Okay? So I'm here to do that with my teams and in my world. And I don't care if, I have little girl on my team in the past that wanted to wear jammers and a rash guard. Totally cool. I'm not going to call her a boy, but if she doesn't want to wear the bathing suit, I get it. I don't like the bathing suits, cut into my bottom. So, I mean, maybe it doesn't feel good. I get that. But I'm going to foster a tomboy that is still a girl that's not going to alter her body, right? So, as I've shared, I really feel that the sign of Aquarius is perfect for this episode as we think about the water and we think about this nature of fluidity. And I have shared this image before. Carter tells me that he passed this girl later in the race, and I don't think he did. I wasn't there, so this was something that was shared in social media, but it looks to me like she is cruising and Carter is struggling. Okay, so don't think that, I'm not for female athletics, right? Or that they need to not be separated, right? They're totally different, right? And that's how we're all here on the planet, whether we were cut out or like Carter used to say when he was little, swam out or crawled out, we're here because of the feminine, right? All of us. Carter's Country Club is a truly safe space. And like I said, I may disagree with Riley Gaines' political leanings because I don't think that politics is the answer. But if she would come and speak to my athletes or if I could have a conversation with her, I would be down because I love what she's doing. I just don't think that politics are the answer. But I do love her words. So I'm going to share them again here. I believe being forced to use preferred pronouns promotes reality distortion and a lack of basic respect for biology. Since I started advocating for women's sex based rights, I began to realize that even when I tried to be what I thought was kind and inclusive and used preferred pronouns, it wasn't enough. Unless we undoubtedly believed men could turn into women and experience all of the same things women do while not daring to question it, then you were showcasing transphobia. I was fully embracing fiction in the guise of showing respect. So thank you, Riley Gaines. I will not do that. And I do not tell my son to do that. If somebody does use different pronouns, we call them by their name, plain and simple. And thanks to Mark Passio yet again, because I would not be here, right? My son is outside playing. I don't know what I would be doing if I wasn't here in front of this computer in this very moment. But it would not be staring at the screen. So being awake means caring enough to take real world action to create real world change, which is why I'm here, which is why I invited you to move with that song so that we move into action. If you are unfamiliar with natural law and natural law principles, as I was, then let's get educated, right? I do believe Mark Passio is the best place to go, but if you'd like to listen to somebody else, Will Keller and many of the creators in the One Great Work network that Passio has created um, are here speaking that truth, right? So they are talking about these natural law principles: mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, gender, which is what this episode was about, and care. Okay, true care, generative care, right? I'm not super familiar with Will Keller's work. I was exposed to him through Mark Passio and through when I took How to Become the True Media. He was, I think, one of the, kind of moderators that was helping Mark out. As I have mentioned before, and I wanted to just keep giving you this, I really encourage you to check out What on Earth is Happening and go all the way back to episode 1 and go through it. That is what I'm doing. And like I said, I have been very distracted by my Ballet Help Desk podcast listening. Got to be honest. But I'm doing my best, and that's why I'm here. So, as I shared before, my big vision: a farm, training center, fine arts complex. I put school in quotations. In later episodes, I've changed that to classical education just for clarity, and a moral place for all families who consciously choose, right? I don't need to go and advocate and change the public school system. I don't need to change what's going on in the cities. I just want to create this and be the light and show with what we're doing, right? I'm going to start with their education, with you, with all of us coming together, right? Not to say I'm going to leave them and abandon those people. Justin says even if you don't like his firearms, he would still use them to protect you if you needed it, right? And again, I'm sorry for speaking for him. We got to bring him in here so that you can hear him. My son loves the arts. I love the arts. And I hear on the Ballet Help Us all the time that they want to save the arts, right? Me too. Okay. And I think they're doing some good things out there, right? Like, I'm very grateful. Carter has a full scholarship at Nashville Ballet for next year. I'm very grateful for that. And I chose to put him there, right? Synchromistically, we just went to an audition, but now I am educated and I know why I'm choosing to continue fostering his classical ballet education there. But I think we still have room to go, right? Just like I shared the Emmylou Harris song, A Ways to Go. I'm going to read these two quotes because I think they're very fitting, that I want to make sure we include the boys and men. Okay. The male identifying dancers have tons of companies and places that they can go to, but just the purely boys and men that do not want to be called male identifying or, they, them, then yeah, I want to make sure they have a place, as well as the girls, right? Just like girls like me that were like, okay, I do not like pink, but that doesn't make me a boy. The hardest job kids face today is learning good manners without seeing them. Thank you, Fred Astaire. I will do better. We will all do better so that these kids grow up learning to be moral, compassionate, loving human beings. In ballets, women is first, or maybe women are first, right? This is what, as I continue to look up this quote, it still says it this way. So maybe Balanchine said it this way. I don't know. In my ballets, women is first. Men are consorts. God made men to sing the praises of women. They are not equal to men, they are better. I disagree with many things of George Balanchine, although I do love a Balanchine ballet and I do think that he was a genius. I don't think that it was his relationships with some of his female dancers were always consensual and appropriate, but who knows? I wasn't there. But I do love this idea of, highlighting the masculine and highlighting the feminine in their ways. So thank you for hanging in with me for this whole long episode. I'm really excited to move on to episode 3 because, like I said, I've recorded this multiple times, so I feel like I just keep talking about this content. But these are the kids that I am working with currently, and tonight we have our last regular rehearsal for Orphans Recital. And next week we start summer swim team. So I'm right in the thick of this. I am in action with the children and people that I'm working with, but I want to expand beyond that. So if you feel so called, I would appreciate for you to reach out. That is my work email. So you can send me an email there, or you can scan these QR codes and donate and tell me what you're envisioning as well. And how can we work together, and how can we create what I am calling Carter's Country Club. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in episode 3.